Welcome back to She Stitchin'. This is Melanie, and I'd like to thank you for joining me today to do this beautiful box stitch. You can see it worked up here in two colors, and it has a little bit of a 3D effect to it with the shells standing out. It's a really pretty ornamental stitch. So this is it worked up in two colors, and I'll show you when to change colors. But for my crochet long blanket, I did it in one color. So this video is part of a series where I'm making a bunch of sample swatches to go together into a sample blanket. So you can see this here will be the square that I include in the blanket. It's all in one color, so it does look pretty in one color, but it's also really pretty in two colors. And I've seen it done before with each row of shells being a different color. This is actually only one-sided. You can see the back here. It looks interesting, but definitely not as pretty as the front side. This pattern is a little bit more difficult because you have to skip quite a few stitches, and that can get kind of confusing. So I do recommend checking out the written pattern that will be available on my blog, and the link is in the description. And I've kind of broken up the rows and named the rows so that we can talk about them a little bit easier, because there are various times in the pattern when we're going to skip down to lower rows. All right, so at the beginning of our row, our first row, I'm calling it the foundation row. We're going to have a row of all single crochet. So if you're doing this crochet along with me, you're going to start out with a starting chain of 31 and then go back and do a whole row of single crochet so that you have 30 single crochet. Now if you want to replicate this in a different size, you just need to use a multiple of 10 plus 1 and then do that foundation row of all single crochets. So if you would like to pause the video and work up your first row, that would be great, and I will meet you at the bottom. Right, so here we are down at the bottom, and I forgot to say that this sample here is an old Caron Simply Soft. You can see how old it is by the image on the wrapper. So I don't think these colors are in production anymore, but this is my Caron 1 pound and taupe, and what I'm going to be using today is also a Caron 1 pound that I use for my crochet along, and this is in the pale green color. Okay, so what we have here is that 30 single crochet, and it's a little bit stretched out because I had to frog it once, but you should have 30 single crochet if you're doing the crochet along with us, and if you're not, then you just want to have a multiple of 10 single crochets. Okay, then what we're going to do is chain 1 and turn, and we're going to do a single crochet into the first stitch. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to skip 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and go into this fifth single crochet. So yarn over, and what we're going to do in this is we're going to place our first shell. Now the shells for this pattern are going to be 5 double crochet, chain 1, and then 5 more double crochet, and we do all of that into one space, and that's why it's a little bit stretched out already. So that's the American double crochet. So we're going to start with the yarn over, then we insert our hook, yarn over, pull loop up, we have 3 on, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So hopefully you know how to do the double crochet. So we're going to go ahead and do 5 of these. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we're going to chain 1 to form the tip of the shell, and we're going to do 5 more double crochet down the other side of the shell. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so that's our first shell, and it's going to be shaped a little bit weird just because it's a lot of stitches going into one stitch, but it will flatten out as we go up. So this first row that we're working on here is what I'm calling the shell row, obviously, because it has all of our shell stitches. So we just finished this row here, or the first shell here. So what we're going to do now, and this part you had to make sure that you count correctly. Now because we have 10 double crochets all going in here, it might be hard to find all of our stitches down here, but we want to make sure we're only skipping 4. So make sure you pull the stitches a little bit and get the count right. So we skip 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We go into the 5th one with just a single crochet. All right. And that's our repetition in the beginning. Okay, so let me do one more shell with you. We're going to skip 4 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4. Go into the 5th, and we're going to do that shell again. So that shell for us is going to be 5 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, chain 1 for the top of our shell, and then 5 double crochets back down the other side. 1. You can hear my husband playing with our baby maybe in the background, so sorry. 3 double crochet, 4, and 5. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet, and 5. Then we're going to skip 4 stitches. So like I said, make sure you pull them a little bit and count the stitches here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go into the 5th one with just a single crochet. All right, so go ahead and finish off your last shell without me. You're going to skip 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4. Go into that 5th one with another shell of 5 double crochet, chain 1, 5 more double crochet, and then we're going to single crochet into the turning stitch all the way down here. So I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so we've just finished off row 1, which was the shell row. So we have the 5 double crochet, chain 1, 5 double crochet, then we skip 4, single crochet, and then skip another 4 and do another shell. That was the repetition for the shell row. Now we're going to start row 2, which I'm going to be calling the post stitch row, and you'll see why in a second. This is the row that's going to add the dimension to the box stitches so that they stick out. And this is row 2 will also be where when you go to repeat, you're going to come back to this point to repeat for the rest of the stitch until you get your desired height. We'll start the repeat, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the chain 1, and then we're going to insert into that first stitch and just do a single crochet, a normal single crochet. And then we're going to do 5 post stitches. They're going to be front post single crochets, and we're going to do it on all 5 of these double crochets from the shell portion, okay? So when we do a post, when we normally are crocheting, we're going to go through the front and the back loops on the top, right? That's what we're used to doing. But now in order to get that 3D look, we're going to be going around the post. So these are the loops on the top, and then this part of the stitch is considered the post. So what we're going to do is from the front to the back, we're going to go insert our hook from this side, then we're going to bring the hook back up on the other side. So basically we're wrapping around that entire stitch. Let me show you what this looks like from the back. So we're not going through a single piece of yarn or 2 pieces of yarn. We're going around the entire stitch. It's like the tree trunk of the stitch, I guess you could say. So we go around the whole post, and then we're going to do a normal single crochet. So you yarn over and pull the loop up, and then you finish like a normal single crochet with yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that again. So we're going to find that post from the next stitch, insert our hook from the front to the back, then all the way back around the front, then yarn over and do a single crochet. I'll do that slow for you one more time. So we're going to isolate that next stitch. We're going to go front to back behind the stitch, then come forward and get that whole stitch around, then yarn over, pull loop up, and yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so that was our first 3 times. Now we're going to do it 2 more times on this side of the shell. So we insert, pull the stitch forward, yarn over, and do a single crochet. We're going to do that 1 more time. Insert. This last one's easy because it's kind of on our own. There we go. So now we've done front post single crochets on all 5 of those double crochets from the shell. Then we're going to chain 1 at the tip of the shell, and now we're going to go back down the other side of the shell and do 5 front post single crochets again. All right, so insert our hook behind it, pull it forward, and do a single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do another front post single crochet, but this time we're going to do it on this little lonely single crochet that's down here in between the shells. So we're going to insert through, come back up, pull that stitch forward, do a single crochet around the post. There we go. And then we're going to start from the beginning with the 5 front post up single crochets, a chain 1, and then 5 more front post single crochets. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we chain 1 for the top of the shell and go back down the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that finishes off the shell stitch. And then we're going to go to that single crochet in between, and we're going to do a front post single crochet. All right, so now that we've done that repetition 2 times, I'm going to let you do it on your last time alone. But when you get to the end, it's just going to be a normal single crochet in the end. So I'll meet you to get ready for the next row. Okay, so I've just finished that up. So we did the front post single crochets twice with you. And now I did this off screen. I did 5 front post single crochet, chain 1, 5 more front post single crochet, and then we did a single crochet in the end turning stitch. So that completes the post stitch row. So what we just finished was the post stitch row, and that really added a lot of dimension to our shell stitches, didn't it? Kind of looks like a little roof we've got going here now. Now what we're going to be working on, going to be calling the tall scaffolding row. So if you look at the back of our stitches here, you can see that we've got these 2 rows here in white that are kind of building the height that we need and the shape that we need to make that box stitch again. So I'm calling this one the tall scaffolding row, and then there's another little row in there of short scaffolding. So let's go ahead and start on the tall scaffolding row. Now, if you're not changing color, what you can do now is a chainless standing double crochet and then a chain 1 after that. If you are changing your color, I recommend just doing a chain 4. So let's go ahead and I'll do that chainless standing double crochet with you. What you're going to do in the beginning is pull up your yarn to the height of a double crochet and then hold here with this tension. Then we're going to wrap it around and down. I need a little bit more height. Wrap it around and down. Then you're going to go through the front and the back loop. Keep holding that tension. Yarn over, pull it through. Then you finish it off just like a normal double crochet. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. Now, if you've been doing the double crochet or if you've been doing the crochet along with us, I've been doing that every week, so I don't want to keep explaining it over and over for my repeat subscribers. But if you want to learn how to do it, you can check out the description area, and I'll have a link to the video by the Moogly blog. She does a great job describing that stitch. So we have the chainless standing double crochet and a chain 1. So if you are not going to do the chainless standing double crochet right now, you should have chain 4. If you are doing the chainless standing double crochet, you'll have the chainless standing double crochet, then a chain 1. Then what we're going to do is we're going to do a double crochet into that first stitch, the same first stitch that we just went into. So we're going to yarn over and do a double crochet into here. And basically what we're doing here is we're creating the area that we'll put the beginning of the shells when we get there again. So this is kind of like a little V-stitch hanging off the end. Then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And we're going to jump up here to the top. And we're going to use this chain 1 space from the scaffolding row. So ignore the top of the shell, the front of the shell. We're going to go behind the seams and go to this back one. And we're just going to do a single crochet back there. So I'll insert into the chain space, yarn over, pull it up, and just do a single crochet there. Okay, so that's kind of going to be like a hidden stitch. Then we're going to chain 3 again. And we're going to skip these 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to go into the front post single crochet down here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and go into that next one. And we're going to do double crochet. And then we're going to chain 2. And double crochet again. And there we have like another V-stitch, and eventually that will be where we'll be placing our shells later. So here we'll have a double shell in the future, so that's why we have a chain 2. Out here we're only going to have a half shell, so that's why there's only a chain 1 here, so that's why, because it's only going to get a half shell, okay, if you're wondering. Okay, and then we're going to chain 3 again, and we're just going to repeat that. So we're going to chain 3, single crochet into the back of that post row behind the shell. So don't go in the front, go into the back area here in the chain 1 and do single crochet. Then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to do that again down here. So skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go into the 6th one with a double crochet, chain 2, and then double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet. Sorry, let me pull some extra yarn out here. Okay, and then we're gonna chain 3 again. 1, 2, 3. Go into that back row again. So ignore the front and go into the back behind the seams and do a single crochet. Then chain 3. Alright, and now we've reached that outside. So we're gonna, this will eventually only have a half a shell, so we're only gonna do double crochet, chain 1 only, and then another double crochet. Oops, so yarn over, insert our hook through both loops, double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. So this is a really fast row, but that is our tall scaffolding row. So we're kind of building the framework to get the next shells. Then what we're going to do is chain 1 and turn, and now we're going to start the short scaffolding row. So we're going to do a single crochet into that last double crochet. So we had the chain 1, and now we're going to do a single crochet. And then we're going to chain 1 and single crochet. We'll skip this chain space and single crochet. So now what we're going to do for this short scaffolding row is we're basically going to mimic what we did below, except all the stitches are going to be only chains and single crochet. So we're going to chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. So we're basically just going to be mimicking that framework that we laid before. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to single crochet into that top of that single crochet up there at the top of the shell. Then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to single crochet into the double crochet. So there's the double crochet, and we go through the front and the back loop and do a single crochet there. Then this one had 2 in between, so we're going to chain 2, and we're going to place a single crochet on top of that double crochet, and then we're going to chain 3 just like it's here below. 1, 2, 3. We're going to go into the single crochet and just do another single crochet. Then up next, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Sorry, just playing with my yarn a little bit. Single crochet here, chain 2 for the middle, 1, 2, and then do another single crochet on top of that double crochet there, front and back loops. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, go into the single crochet with another single crochet. Then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to find this last little V-stitch. This one only had the chain 1 in between, remember? So we're going to single crochet, chain 1, and then single crochet. So make sure you skip 1 chain and go into that turning stitch. Now if you did the chainless knitting double crochet, it's really easy to find the top of it. If you did the chain 3, you're going to go into the 3rd chain up. Okay, so that finishes our short row of scaffolding. And that's it. Let's go ahead and we're going to turn and do the next row. So now we're going to have a half shell here on the edges. So now we're starting off with this white shell. So we built up all this behind the scenes scaffolding that's kind of hard to see if you're looking at the pattern straight on. And we're going to start on this shell here. So if you're comfortable doing the chainless knitting double crochet, we're going to go ahead and do one of those. And if you're not, you can just do chain 3. So I'm going to do that chainless knitting double crochet. We're going to pull it up to the height of a double crochet, wrap it around, go through the front and the back loops, yarn over, pull through, then finish it off like a double crochet, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, and then we're just going to chain 1, and now we're going to start the shell. So what we're going to do is we're going to skip this short scaffolding layer here, and we're going to go into the long scaffolding layer. So you can see here, this is the space in between those double crochets, and we're going to do 5 double crochets into that row. So they're going to end up being long double crochets, and that's why we get this nice long piece of yarn here. Okay, so we're going to go all the way down in there, all the way around through the back, pull the yarn through the back and pull it up. So you're wrapping your yarn all the way around both tops of the scaffolding layers. So you're going around 2 rows of chains, basically. And that's what makes these double crochets so long, okay? And we're going to do that 5 times for the whole shell. Or, well, this is a half shell, okay? So 1, 2. So again, you yarn over, go all the way down, yarn over, pull it up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, just like a normal double crochet. So we don't count this first one, so now we have 1, 2, 3 in the shell. 4 and 5. Okay, so that finishes off our first shell. Now what we're going to do is we're going to single crochet and we're going to go into that shell here. So find the shell that we made before, and we're going to go all the way down to the shell row. So we're going to skip 1, 2, 3 rows, go all the way down to that first shell, and insert and do a single crochet. There we go. So that's our first little set. And then we're not going to do any chains in between. What we're going to do now is we're going to go and we're going to do a full shell into this section of the long scaffolding layer. Okay, so yarn over, insert your hook, and then we're going to go pull it up. Make sure, sorry, let me show you that again. So yarn over, insert your hook, go all the way through, and grab the hook all the way around the back, pull it up, and we're going to do 5 double crochets that way. 1, oh, sorry, that got a little too loose. We don't want this to be too stretched out. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to chain 1 at the top of the shell, and then we're going to do 5 more into the same place for the other half of the shell. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it's a lot going into that one space, but there you can see it all. So we have 5 chain 1, 5 double crochet. So that's a full shell. And then we're going to single crochet into the front of the previous shell, okay? So from shell row to shell row. So we're going to skip all of the scaffolding layers and the post layer and go into the front of the shell stitch and just do a single crochet, okay? And we'll go ahead and do that again. So we'll do another shell and then a single crochet into the front, and then we'll do a half of a shell here. So I'll meet you at the end of this half shell, okay? I'm just going to join you for this last half shell. So we just ended with a single crochet in the top of that previous shell, in the front of the shell. So now we're just going to do 5 double crochet in this last little chain space from the tall scaffolding row, okay? So we're going to do 5 double crochets into here. Oops, sorry, that's a little loose there. 1, 2. Now as you're doing this, you want to make sure not to hide the end here. If you go too fast and you don't hold on right here, you might cover up the single crochet that we're going to need in the end. That's why I wanted to do this with you. Just make sure that you keep these double crochets all the way over so that we can get into this last stitch, okay? There we go. So we've got the other side. And now for the end here, we're going to do a chain 1, and then, and then a double crochet into the turn, okay? So we're going to find the front loop and the back loop of that turning chain. Back loop, front loop, and we're going to yarn over and do a double crochet into there. So go through both of those loops and do that double crochet in the end. There you go. Now we have finished another row. Now, if you've got a little baby or something, at this point, once you do this other post row, I think this would make the cutest little baby crown. Anyways, so that's one way to use this stitch as an accessory. It would be a very cute photo prop. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to start that post stitch row. So we're going to chain 1 and turn, and then we're going to just do a single crochet into this turning chain, or the turning stitch. Okay, we've got the 5 double crochets. Now you want to make sure not to lose that bottom one there, okay? It's a little bit could get lost, and we're going to do 5 front post single crochets on all of these, okay? So as a reminder, we go all the way around the stitch and do the single crochets. I have to sneeze. So we're going to do a full set here. And then just like the last post stitch row, we're going to do a front post single crochet on top of this stitch that goes in between the shells, okay? So wrap all the way around behind that, have your hook come out the other side, and do a single crochet. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to do 5 front post single crochets. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then chain 1. And then we're going to do 5 front post single crochets down the other side of the shell. So this row is pretty easy. So just go ahead and keep doing the 5. Let me finish this one off with you, then I'll give you your game plan, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is a little bit of a difficult pattern, but once you figure out what's happening in each row, it's pretty easy to do. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and grab all the way around that single crochet. So ignore all this back scaffolding stuff and go all the way around that single crochet and do that front post single crochet there. Okay, then what you're going to do is 5 front post single crochet, chain 1, 5 front post single crochet down the other side, then a front post single crochet on the middle one, and then you're going to do 5 front post single crochet on the way up that other shell, and then a normal single crochet in the turning chain, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, now I just finished off the 5 front post single crochet. Then what we're going to do is chain 1, and then we're going to go in to the turning stitch. So you can see the top of my chain listening double crochet here. I have the back loop, front loop. We're going to go through there and do a single crochet. Now if you there we go. If you did the turning chain, you're going to just have chain 3. So you go into the top of the chain 3, and then you'll have another chain 1 there. Okay, there we go. We finished our post stitch row. So that's the back, and here's the pretty side. You can go. So wouldn't that make a cute little crown? Am I the only one that thinks that? Let me know what you think. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to start with another tall scaffolding row. So for the tall scaffolding row, we're going to start here with a chain 1 and turn. So we're still facing this way. We're going to chain 1 and turn. And then we're just going to do a single crochet into the turning chain here. So this is our turning single crochet. We're just going to do another single crochet into there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to skip 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and go down here into the middle, and we're going to do, we're going to do the tall scaffolding, the V stitches, sorry, the double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. All right, so we're going to go down here to the single crochet, that front post single crochet. Make sure we get in there. And we're going to do the double crochet, chain 2, oh, got a little bit of a yarn, issue here, sorry. There we go. So double crochet, chain 2, and then another double crochet into the same stitch. All right, and that's where our little scaffold goes. And then so now we're going to do chain 3 again, 1, 2, 3. We're going to go into the post row, so don't go into the front, go into the back with a single crochet. So this is similar to what we were doing before on the last one, or the last time we were at this row. Oh, I forgot to mention, the beginning of this row, this would be where you would change color. You change color before the tall scaffolding row. Okay, then chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to skip down here and go into that. Let me see that single crochet down here. We're going to want to go into that. Oops, sorry, I'm holding it too low. So we have that middle single crochet, and that's where we're going to want to crochet into right there. There we go. So double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet into the same stitch. Then chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to go up and do a single crochet in the back of this shell. So the post stitch, turn that down to make sure we get in the right stitch. Single crochet. Then we're going to do chain 3. Put another, find that single crochet down here. Find the end of it and do that double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. Okay, so find it here, double crochet, one, 2, and double crochet again. Okay, then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and this is going to take us up to the top of our row, and we're going to insert here and do a single crochet. There we go. So we finished our tall scaffolding layer. And now we're going to go ahead, turn it around and do the short scaffolding layer. So we're going to chain 1 and turn. Okay. And now we're going to do that short scaffolding layer. So we're going to start off with a single crochet into the turning chain. So we already did the chain 1, then we're going to go insert there. And then single crochet. Sorry, it looks like I got a little bit of fur hanging out here. Single crochet, then we're going to chain 3. So now what we're going to do for this row is we're going to mimic how many chains we have in between. So there always will be 3 chains in between the sections, but in between the double crochets we'll only have two. Okay, so it'll go 3, 2, 3, 3, 2 in between, 3, 3, 2. Hopefully that kind of helps you think of it. I know this is a hard row to follow in the written pattern because I always was getting confused on what part of the pattern I was on. All right, so 1, 2, 3. Find the double crochet, do a single crochet in there, then chain 2 in between, 1, 2. Find the next double crochet and do a single crochet, then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and go into that next top. There you go. And then we're going to do chain 3 down the other side, 1, 2, 3, then single crochet into the top of the double crochet, chain 2, skip the 2 chains, make a single crochet here. Then we're going to chain 3 across, 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to single crochet in here. Okay, then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet into the double crochet, chain 2, 1, 2, into the double crochet with another single crochet. Then we're going to finish it off with a chain 3 to match that, and then a single crochet, 1, 2, 3, single crochet into that turning chain. So front loop, back loop, single crochet. There you have it, the end of our scaffolding rows. And now we're going to start with a row of shells. All right. And we're going to start with a chain 1 and turn. Now this row is going to be a repetition of row 2, kind of. So we're going to be repeating the shells that we did down here. So we're going to do 5 double crochet, chain 1, 5 double crochet. Then we skip all of this, put the single crochet here, then jump over to here, 5 double crochet, chain 1, 5 double crochet. Skip this, do a single crochet on top here, or actually it'll go here, and then do the other shell down into there. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that together. Okay, so yarn over and do 5 double crochet all the way down into that. So where I went here was into the tall scaffolding row. Okay, so we're going to do 5 double crochet into there, and then chain 1. So 3, 4, 5, chain 1. I'm just going to scoot these little guys all over to the side and do 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that finishes off our third high up Okay, now this shell row, we're always going to go down into this shell row here to keep them attached to each other. So single crochet into the tip of that shell. All right, so go ahead and finish that all the way across. You're going to do the 5 double crochet, chain 1, 5 double crochet, and then single crochet into the tip of each of the shells. Okay, I'll meet you at the other side. So here we are at the end. We have the 5 double crochet, chain 1, 5 double crochet, and then single crochet into the tip, and we've got 5 of the shells, and then we're just going to do a single crochet into the last row. There we go. And now we're going to go ahead and start with the post row. So this post row will be the same as row 2. So from here out, we're going to copy row 2 through row 9. Okay, so let me go ahead and we will do chain 1 and turn. And now we're going to go ahead and copy row 2, and I'll just do the beginning of that with you to remind you. So we had the chain 1 and turn, and then we're going to single crochet into the last stitch of the row. There we go. And then we're going to do the 5 post stitches up the side, 5 front post single crochets on these double crochets. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to do the chain 1 for the tip, and then the 5 front post double crochets down the other side of the shell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to single crochet. Let me finish this stitch, sorry. And then we're going to single crochet a front post single crochet around that middle one that goes in between the shells. We're going to grab that, go all the way around, and do a front post single crochet. All right, so like I said before, this row is a repetition of row 2. So for the rest of the pattern, you copy rows 2 through 9. And that is the end of the pattern. Now, if you are doing the crochet along with us, you're going to want to have a straight edge on the top. So hold on just a minute and I'll show you how I got that straight edge on the top of my square. Okay guys, so I went ahead and I finished up the shell repetitions of the rows. So we're going to be repeating 2 through 9 until you get to the point where you have 4 full shells. So you have the half shell plus 4 more, and that will get you to almost the height that we need for our squares. So let me line this up so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So now we're almost to the height of our squares. So if you're doing a regular blanket, it's not part of squares like we are doing, then you can go ahead and have this beautiful scalloped border. But since we're trying to fit all these together, we want to have that straight edge. So let me go ahead and adjust my camera a little bit, and I'll show you how I got this straight border. Okay, so let's get working on this. Now this will be available on my blog later today after I'm able to take all the pictures we need. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with a chainless standing double crochet. So I pull that up to the height that I want, hold my pressure, wrap it around, insert through the front and the back loops, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And once again, I'll put a tutorial on that in the comment, in the description section. And then we're going to do 2 half double crochets. So those are American terms. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook into that post stitch row, yarn over, pull loop through, then yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, we're going to do that twice. Just a minute, babe. Okay. So now you can see we got the tall stitch in the beginning, but then as this grows up, we're going to start doing shorter stitches down. Okay, and then we're going to do 2 single crochet. Now, if we were to just do 1 stitch per stitch on this pattern, we would end up with a lot more than 30 stitches. Now, all of our borders for the crochet along are going to have 30 stitches.
So we're going to have to lose some stitches now because this pattern has 5 up, 5 down, plus 1 in the middle, plus 1 on each side. So that's going to be more than 30 if you add it all up. So what we're going to do is we'll be skipping some stitches, but we always want to make sure we have 5 up and then 5 back down the other way. So that's our first set. And now we're going to start the repetition that we'll do twice because we have 2 little peaks here. So I'm going to start with a single crochet, and I'm going to put it through the shell and through the post shell row, post stitch row, just to make sure that this doesn't get droopy later. Alright, so we're going to insert here and do a single crochet. Hi son, I'll help you in a couple minutes, okay? Alright, and then we're going to do a next single crochet, so make sure to skip this and not go in there, and do a single crochet here. And then we're going to do 2 half double crochets. 1, 2, and then we're going to do a double crochet. There we go. So that's going to be our 5 right here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then what we're going to do is we're going to skip some of these stitches down here in the bottom, and that's going to help our stitch counts, okay? So now we're going to skip down here, and we're going to start on the other side of the valley. So I'm going to skip these 2 and go to the other side of the valley and do a double crochet. And then 2 half double crochets, 1 and 2. And then we're going to do 2 single crochets. 1, 2. There we go. So you can see how that's coming out nice and straight. Okay, so now let's go ahead and just repeat from this front single crochet. So we're going to go through the shell and through the post stitch row, single crochet in there, and then we're going to make sure to skip that and come in here, single crochet. So that's 2 stitches, 1, 2. Then we're going to do 2 half double crochets, 1 and 2, and then our 5th stitch is going to be a double crochet. There we go. So that's got our 5 stitches, and then we're going to skip the valley, 1 and 2, and we're going to start a double crochet on the other side. So double crochet, and then 2 half double crochets, and then a single crochet. There we go. And another single crochet. And that's got us back up to the valley, and we're going to do our last one here. So on this one, we're going to want to make sure that we skip an additional stitch because we have the end here, okay? So we're going to go through the top and through the post stitch row and do a single crochet. Now we're going to have 4 more stitches to do. So I'm going to skip this next stitch and do a single crochet here. That's 2. Then we're going to do 2 half doubles. 1, 2, and then a double crochet in the last stitch. Oops, got stuck on something. There we go. 2 and 3. There we go. So that's how we got that straight border on the top for this row. Now I know that the borders are a little bit tricky, so for this video I will do, or for this stitch, I'm going to be doing another video on the borders. So just, you can go ahead and leave this square like this until I come back and do that video, because the 3D nature of the stitches on the side here is going to be a little bit tricky. So I will be doing that single crochet border with you guys. And I will be also doing a more simple stitch. I'll be doing a how-to on do the borders soon. So I'm going to be using the cluster V stitch for our simple border. And the borders are basically 30 single crochet plus the corners, so it ends up being 32 on each side. So the cluster V stitch will be a really simple introduction to that, and then this one might be a little bit more difficult, so I'm going to make sure to go ahead back and do that with you. So I hope you guys enjoy this stitch. I really love it. I think it's beautiful. It's kind of antique-y looking, especially in these colors that I chose for my thumbnail sample. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and I will see you next week. If anybody asks where I am until then, just tell them she's stitching.